one of the themes that women always discuss is efficiency. We're constantly speaking about what it's like to juggle the various titles we wear, be it mother or wife or professional, and still have time for ourselves, our hobbies, or even, we hope, to help the greater community. And so we try to read books, and we read articles and listen to podcasts, and we download apps, and we try to master time in order to do it all. And most often, unless you're a magician, we end up realizing that all of those balls that we're constantly trying to juggle in the air, they never stay up in the air. And we're trying so hard to be perfect, but in the end, we make ourselves crazy, trying to achieve it all. And often we feel a certain sense of pressure in comparing ourselves to the women next to us. And because of that, there's a loneliness in trying to do it all, trying to be it all. When you think you are constantly climbing a ladder upon which the perception is that the other women on the rungs above must be doing it better than you. It was with this kind of mindset that a group of my female friends, all rabbis, we decided to create a WhatsApp chat. There are 5 of us from all different parts of the country. We're very different from each other. I'm the only native Californian. One woman is 5 years ahead of me in the rabbinate. Another lives in Canada. One is the solo clergy of her shul, and another serves as an assistant rabbi. We first came together to address what I mentioned at the beginning. We came to address the idea of how to be productive and how to hold ourselves accountable while also leading balanced, meaningful lives. I think everyone here in the congregation could have told us when we started that group with that kind of task, the idea would be impossible. So needless to say, we never found the magic answer, but instead, through the process, we found something else. We found each other. 2025 marks the 40th anniversary of women in the conservative rabbinate. I'm finishing my 2nd year as co-senior rabbi at Sinai Temple and the first woman to ever hold this position. Thank you. But I think many of you would agree that the issues facing women in the rabbinate, they're not so different from other female entrepreneurs. Across the board, women still worry about how much or how little maternity leave will be negotiated, whether there's enough time to pump or nurse or feed between meetings, how to help with math homework while also attending a work dinner, and whether we'll make it home just in time for bedtime. Ask any woman. Women worry about looking the part, wearing what's fashionable, appearing awake when likely there was 1 or 2 kids keeping them up through the night, and even trying to attempt a fitness routine between fundraising meetings and soccer games. Women in the workforce are still fighting an uphill battle when it comes to achieving that idea of balance. And there are some glass ceilings regarding equitable pay, maternity leave, image, and productivity expectations that have yet to be shattered. However, something drastically changed in the last 40 years. Because women in the rabbinate, we now have each other. In essence, women in the rabbinate have finally learned how to create a sisterhood. Back to my female WhatsApp group. No topic is off the table. One of us might write about being distraught after a tragic death in our congregation. Another might need help trying to decide which college their child should attend amidst the difficulties Jews have to face on campus. One of us is dealing with the physical ailments of aging parents while also attending to the needs of a robust congregation. Almost every day, the five of us wrestle with the struggles of motherhood, of wifehood, and we ask each other the questions: am I feeding them enough? Am I helping them enough? To my children, to my partner, am I enough? To our congregations that require and deserve our attention and our love, am I enough? Now, alone, these questions, they might have buried us, thinking that as individual female professionals, only we are burdened with such severe loads. But as a group, the load becomes bearable. We share milestones, fashion choices, funny jokes, missteps, and achievements. We empathize with each other when a synagogue program goes awry, and we cry with each other when a personal relationship is suffering or in jeopardy. And then we smile and rejoice with each other as we raise our families while also raising congregations. For years, I hear and see the competition between women in the workplace, women pushing each other down to get premier positions. When I graduated the Jewish Theological Seminary in 2009, roughly 30% of my classmates were women. Those of us that interviewed for pulpit positions knew we would probably be interviewing as the female rabbi joining the staff. Congregations then would ponder whether or not they were ready to have a lady rabbi leading services or officiating at funerals. And for those few spots that were offered, female rabbis forged ahead, having few colleagues that could possibly understand what it would be like to possibly run off the bima as soon as services are over because they might be worried about their sick child at home. Having very few rabbis that understand how physically draining it is to stand when you're pregnant, but smiling through it all. Few to commiserate with, and few to celebrate with. But here we are, 2025, and women in the rabbinate have a very different experience than those of our predecessors. While sexism certainly exists, most positions today are not characterized as the female rabbi job. There's a greater understanding of the needs of those women who are working, who are experiencing pregnancy, who are traversing through and back from maternity leave. And I think the major reason is because female rabbis have set the path for other female rabbis. Who better to champion women's voices than those who have felt as if their voices were stifled or silenced? The major reason now is I believe we are choosing to hold each other up, to act as each other's confidants and mentors, colleagues and friends, or perhaps you might say, sisters. Our microcosm, that WhatsApp group, there are so many listservs and so many threads that have been created in the last few years with the sole intention of bringing women together. This can't be understated, because instead of being afraid of not having all the answers, instead of worrying as if we don't know everything, women are choosing to ask each other questions. We're not ashamed of asking each other for help and learning to use each other as resources, as teachers, as guides. In the Talmud, Rabbi Eliezer says, "Whoever teaches his daughter Torah is considered as if he taught her foolishness." It was noted then that a woman was considered light-headed. Then those comments spurred intense debate throughout the years whether or not women were fit to study Torah, make decisions regarding Jewish laws, and engage in philosophical discourse. Well, 40 years ago, women in the conservative movement made the courageous decision to take a leap, to stand as trailblazers, to make room for Jewish life, for a woman's voice to lead as rabbinic figures. The conservative movement has a Jewish legal framework called the CJLS, the Committee on Jewish Laws and Standards. There are 25 different rabbis that sit on that committee to determine and set halachic policy for the movement. Today, 50% of that committee includes female voices. Voices that historically were considered obsolete, voices today that are valued, voices today that choose to collaborate with each other, and mostly see each other not as adversaries, but as champions. Because of the individuals that came before us, I believe our journey is not as difficult. Is it perfect? Of course not. But it is so much better due to the camaraderie we are choosing. It is so much better because of sisterhoods like the one that we have witnessed this morning. The journey into the rabbinate continues to be one that women want to take. Because of congregations like Sinai Temple, I know that you see me. I know that you see us as mothers, as wives, as professionals. And in my 16 years here as a member of the clergy, you have always treated me and seen me as your rabbi. The greatest gift we will give women in 2025, and most importantly, women in the future, is that through our joys and through our sorrows, we remind ourselves we are much better together. Here's to the next 40 years. Shabbat Shalom.